Hello.
Hello.
La palabra es suya.
Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there, but as you know, there were problems in Brussels airport yesterday, so I was unable to arrive on time. So I'm very glad to give you some brief description of our experience with the Inclusion Policy Lab, which is a project that we have developed in the last few years here in Spain, and that can give some good experiences and lessons learned for the European anti-poverty strategy and what can be achieved. So let me give you a bit of context. So I work in the Ministry of Inclusion, Social Security and Migrations in the General Secretariat of Inclusion, which was created in 2020 with the main goal of designing and launching a new minimum income scheme in Spain. Before that, we didn't have a national minimum income scheme, and there was a commitment of the newly appointed coalition government at that moment to implement a national minimum income scheme. But since the beginning, this national minimum income scheme, the idea was that was not only going to be a monetary benefit, but in order to really help eradicate poverty, it has to be to go together with activation and inclusion strategies for the beneficiaries of the benefit, because it's not enough to give money for daily life, but also you have to help people overcome the barriers that they encounter to social inclusion. But of course, there are a lot of different activation and inclusion strategies that can be applied, and it wasn't clear which ones were the more effective, what works. And then in Spain, we also have a very decentralized organization. So the actual practice implementation of activation strategies are in the hands of regional and local governments. So from the central government, from the ministry, what we decided to do is try to test which were the more effective using innovation and evaluation. So for this, we also took the opportunity given by the Next Generation EU funds and the Recovery and Resilience Plan to test different policies and find out which ones were more effective in reaching their goals. And the main goal was to help people out of poverty. The policy lab was created, financing over 30 pilot projects of different types of policies with different target populations and different goals, but always with the main goal of helping people get out of poverty and social exclusion. The governance of this policy lab was complex because it involved several stakeholders with different roles. We in the ministry, we had a coordinating role, but we were not the ones implementing the policies. As I mentioned, in Spain, this role is in the hand of regional and local government. So we work with regional public administrations, with some local governments, and we also work directly with third sector entities. For instance, with EAPN, we had 2 projects with them. Because the idea is that these third sector organizations are often the ones closer to the people to which these policies are directed. They are the ones with experience in the field, and they know what are the needs and the right policies to help particular groups. So the initiative of which policies to test came from these implementing partners, regional and local governments and third sector organizations. And we in the ministry, we selected the more promising projects and worked with them to refine the proposal. Just briefly, I want to mention that we also worked with academic partners. We worked with 2 research institutions, CENFI, which is an economics research institute depending on the Bank of Spain, and JPAL, which is a global research center working to reduce poverty by ensuring that policy is informed by scientific evidence. And these academic partners really help us to design a very rigorous evaluation of these policies. And it was fundamental, the collaboration of these academic partners in order to develop a theory of change of each pilot project and really establish common instruments for measure the results of all the projects. Now, at this point in time, the first phase of the Inclusion Policy Lab has concluded. We have finished all these 32 projects. We have a dedicated website where we have published the evaluation reports and the results of each of these pilot projects. And we are looking now at the future, how to scale up the inclusion itineraries that have proven their effectiveness, those that were most successful, how to learn from the lessons learned from this project. For instance, we are now scaling up the positive experience with what we call social triage. So working with social services to identify the needs of vulnerable people so that personalized itineraries can be designed for them. We are expanding this in a particular region in Spain, in the south of Spain, that is underdeveloped. And we are also trying to to continue the lab, find new ways of funding, since the original lab was funded mostly by the Next Generation EU funds, in order to continue doing experimental projects to identify best practices and also scale up good experience and good practices to other regions. But I wanted mostly to emphasize from this experience what can be learned in the context of the EU anti-poverty strategy. I think this experience was very interesting for us in the role that we play in the ministry, because as we say, we play mostly a coordinating role. And that was helpful, I think, because many of these local, regional governments and sector entities, they were not so used to have a rigorous evaluation, so they were very knowledgeable about the policies that we're implementing, but we helped to give a coherent evaluation framework to really be able to compare one project with each other and see what kind of results were obtained and be able to compare the results of all the projects. And now we are also doing a big effort of dissemination, because now what we want to do is really provide the other public administrations and other organizations with the lessons learned from this project, so that there is a set of tools and proven good practices that other organizations can learn from and they can apply to their own context. So I think it's very useful to have this common framework in our case at the national level, but here it could also be applied at the European level, so that then national, regional and local governments can apply them at their level and adapt to their local specificities, as has been said before. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria, for your presentation on the Policy Lab and its good experience.